Good afternoon, friends. This is Joe. I've been talking about giving a solar power class for quite some time, and this is going to be the first of at least a couple of videos I'm going to do. I'm going to start at the low end. I gave a solar power class to some friends and mutual assistance groups a couple years ago, and I started at the 12 volt and larger systems, and I realized there was really no need to do that because there is a lot you can do at the low end. I'm talking about at 5 volts. There are a couple good reasons to look at this level, which I skipped over before. One thing, it's very affordable. A several hundred watt solar system for 12 or 120 volts is going to cost upwards of $1,000 or even more. Second of all, it's going to be heavy and bulky. The lead acid batteries they use, you're not going to carry in an emergency situation like you can the 5 volt stuff. So this is going to basically be a rundown of the kind of gear you can use with only 5 volts. It's quite a lot. It's easy to carry, light, and it's also very affordable. I'm going to show you a number of things here that added up are still less than $100. First piece is going to be the solar panel. Folding solar panels such as this one, it's not very large, hangs on a backpack. This one claims an output of 21 watts. Now, that's probably reasonably accurate, but that's also under perfect conditions. The manufacturers aren't going to lie to you about these, but they're going to present how they measured it on a perfect day and right at the sun, no clouds. Carrying it on a backpack, I'd be very happy if I got 16 or 17 watts out of this. You can get them smaller. I've seen them as low as about 7 watts. I don't think that's a good idea. Yes, you can charge your cell phone with that. Slowly. Well, what about your wife's cell phone? Your GPS? Maybe the flashlight that you used in camp last night. That 7 watt solar panel may be good for 5 watts in real conditions, isn't going to cut it. This one I think will. This one I got on a deal. I paid about $20 for this, $25 for this. They can cost quite a bit more, but if you look for deals, you can find one a lot less. You'll use a battery bank with it, such as this one here. About 10,000 milliampere hours. Something to know about these, again, the manufacturers aren't lying to you. That 10,000 milliampere hours is actually based on the 3.7 volt cells they contain. Since their output is actually 5 volts, you've got to cut that down. It's going to be about 8,500 milliampere hours as far as actually powering your devices. You charge this during the day, and then you can charge your devices at night when you're sitting there in camp. I'm just going to run down some of the things that you can run on a 5 volt system. Here's a flashlight. This is a lithium ion flashlight, quite bright. Do a lot with this. It charges off of a USB port. That's 5 volts. Computers provide this. The wall warts that come with your cell phones, tablets, e-readers, all of those things are outputting 5 volts. So here's another thing, a flashlight like this one. This is a Baofeng charging cradle with a USB connector on it. Those radios are used by quite a few groups, quite a few people. You can charge them on a 5 volt system. This is another version of that. If your charging cradle has a plug on it to go to its wall wart, you can get this type of adapter for it that again is USB. If you use a drone for your reconnaissance, this is a drone battery charger. Once again, USB, 5 volts. This is a cheap AA, AAA battery charger. You guessed it, USB, 5 volts. So basically anything you can run on AA or AAA batteries, you can charge and run on a 5 volt system. And that includes things that run on larger batteries. This is a D-cell adapter. You can put a couple of AA's in there and it will fit into D-cell flashlights. This is a little tester. You may not need one of these, but there is another caveat with these solar panels that might make these useful. If you're going to buy a lot of them, as I have, or if you test them for others, as I do, I bought a panel, plugged it into my cell phone, went on charge, off charge, on charge, off charge, beeping all afternoon. At the end of the day, the cell phone hadn't charged. It hadn't lost. It was still hanging around the 61% when I had started. I found out with a tester like this, the solar panel was only outputting 4.7 volts. It's not enough. It's supposed to be 5 volts. Now the lithium-ion batteries that flashlights and cell phones use are only 3.7 volts. So that ought to be enough. Well, yeah, except that the cell phone has a circuit in it that takes that 5 volt input, cuts it down. If the input is too low, when it's cut down, it won't charge the battery. There are two ways to get around that. One is, if you're going to get a lot of these, get a charger like this, or get a meter like this, about 10 bucks. Otherwise, read the consumer reviews. Many of them, especially of technical things, are fluff, but if you find one that is about something that you're going to use it for, it might be of some use. If someone says they took the panel, plugged into the same devices you have, and it worked, chances are it'll work for you too. So what's in my 5 volt kit? Well, it's in 3 pieces. The panel is one, like this one is one of them. This is the rest of the kit. The Baofeng charger I keep with my radio stuff. In the 5 volt kit, this is a universal battery charger. It costs about $15 or so. This will charge AA and AAA just like this will, but it can also charge the 18650 and other lithium-ion batteries such as flashlights and other devices use. Once again, it's USB. So in here, I have another battery bank. This one is Fremo. That's a brand that I've found to be reliable. I've bought a number of their products. All have worked as I expect them to. The one I held up earlier is RAV Power. It's another one of the better brands, in my opinion. I've used a number of them. They've all worked as I would expect. Every now and then you'll get a bad one. It could be a bad cell in there or just a bad product. I've only had it happen once, and I don't even remember the name of the product. I've bought some cheap ones. K-Mashi, for example, was maybe a $12 battery pack. Works fine. It'll charge my cell phone all week long, and then it will hold a charge when I want to use it again. Also in here, rechargeable batteries, AA and AAA for my flashlights and other devices, and some 18650s for flashlights, and another one. Back here, a couple of charging cables. I can charge multiple devices. USB light. Stick this in your tent. That's plenty of light at night. You can get others like it. I think I've got another one in here too. Oh, another Baofeng charger. Another small light. touch light. I put one of these on a wall at home. It makes a good night light. These are all things you can do with 5 volts. If you've got some of this stuff, you're not suffering on a bug out or a camping trip or just a hike. This little, I got a 9-inch desk fan here. That's USB also. That'll keep your tent cool, and that's on low. Let's turn it on high. That's a decent breeze blowing from that. All on 5 volts. So start there. All this stuff I listed, for the most part, you can get under $100. $20 for the panel, $11 if you want the entire charger base, maybe $7 for just the adapter. This fan was the most expensive thing that I sometimes pack, and I don't pack it in my pack. This was $23. The universal battery charger was $14. This battery pack, I think was around $15. I got it on special. The Fremo is a little bit more expensive, but look for deals. You'll find it. These things I found in 5 packs, typically for about $8 for the 5 pack. These things, 10 packs, also for about $8 or $12. That's about it. I'll go on to the larger systems in a later video, but for 5 volts for a start, pretty much anyone can carry this stuff.